Hey, beauty, if you find yourself caring for others a lot and you feel like you need to focus more on yourself, if you want to put your health first, but you just have a lot of responsibilities because you're a caretaker or you're a mom or you're just one of those people who spends a lot of time caring for others, but you don't take the time to care for yourself. This episode is for you. I want you to take better care of yourself because, well, first of all, I believe God wants us to take good care of ourselves because He loves us, and also because when we take better care of ourselves, we can be more refreshed, have more energy, and also take better care of our loved ones. If you want to move away from modern medicine, if you want to discover healthier alternatives for your family, if you want a healthy body, then you're in the right place. Hey beauty, I'm Alexandra. I'm an author and clinical research nurse who discovered that Jesus is the source of true healing. I am the Lord your healer. Exodus 15:26. When I was a nurse, I worked the night shift and I worked on a general medical surgical unit. It was a unit where they brought people that were sick enough to be admitted to the hospital, but not sick enough to be admitted to the ICU. So I saw all sorts of patients. At the time, I worked the night shift, and the hospital that I worked at was pretty good. So the nurse patient ratio at night was 6 patients per nurse, about 6 patients. Later, I found out a couple of years later, the nurses were getting more patients at night. But back then, I think I would only get 6 max. But 6 was a lot for me back then. I write about this in my book, Discover God's Health Wisdom, Exposing 8 Common Myths That Keep You Sick. I remember having this one patient who was diagnosed with schizophrenia. He would just yell and he would throw his urine at me. And then I would have another 400-pound patient who couldn't move on her own. She had an ostomy bag. She had a catheter, so she couldn't pee on her own. She couldn't poop on her own. She couldn't move on her own. Eventually, she was on a ventilator. So she was one of my patients. I had this other patient, he was having really bad gastrointestinal issues, so he was on some type of special feeding tube. Then we would also get patients with sickle cell anemia that would need pain meds every 2 hours, maybe a younger patient with cancer. And then I actually remember I had this lady, she had pictures of herself all over her room. She was this beautiful lady, but when I entered her room, her body was just shriveled up. She had so many interventions done on her. She was super thin. And what happened was she actually got toxic shock syndrome, I believe it's called, from a tampon. If you look on the box, you will see that that's one of the risks of using a tampon. So basically, I'm telling you all this because there were nights when I took care of some really heavy patients. It was really tiring. Being a nurse is super stressful. Nurses are actually really unhealthy, a really unhealthy population of people, unfortunately. Part of it is because they're under a lot of stress, they don't get enough sleep, they're not taking care of themselves. I'm saying all this because you might be a person who does not take good care of yourself. It could be that you're taking care of your husband who is disabled, or you are a younger mom, or your children might be older, but they still need you a lot. Maybe your kids are kind of going through a rough spot. Maybe you're not a mom. Maybe you're just taking care of a lot of people at church or your friends. If you're listening to the show, I just have a feeling that you are the type of person who takes care of others, and you might have trouble taking care of yourself. You might not make the time for yourself. You might not make room to take care of yourself in your budget. We may go through these really rough seasons, these really busy seasons where it's really hard to take care of ourselves because we just don't have enough time. But the truth is, usually in life, I think we feel like we don't have enough time for a lot of things that we should make time for. I listened to this podcast called Luminary Leadership. I've mentioned it on this podcast before. The host, Elizabeth Hartkey, she talks a lot about how your schedule will reveal what is important to you. So if you say that your health is important to you and you don't have anything set aside in your calendar to work on your health, then maybe it's time to ask yourself, is my health really important to me? And if you don't have a time set aside in your calendar to work on your health, ask yourself why. People also say that if we look at how we've spent our money during the month, that will also show what is most important to us. I think most people feel like there's never enough time, and a lot of people feel like there's never enough money. So if we really want to prioritize our health, we should be putting time in our calendar and or we should leave room in the budget for our health. So at this point in my life, I have been taking Muay Thai kickboxing, and they've also opened up this women's jujitsu class at my academy. So I'm excited to start women's jujitsu. So Muay Thai has been part of my schedule the past few months. Even though I still feel super awkward doing it, it's a priority for me because I want to stay in shape. And also, when I'm doing my budget, I have room in my budget for some health supplements for me and the kids, and or I set aside some money for other things that I think that we will need for our health. So, your action step for today is to put something on your calendar this month. Set aside some time on your calendar to take care of yourself. It doesn't have to be working out. It can be going out with a friend. It could be having some time just to read your book. Maybe you could do a little shopping with a friend, or if you like shopping on your own, you could do that. So put aside some time on your calendar this month to take care of yourself, or this month when you're doing your budget, I hope you have a budget, put some money aside for some health supplements or for a massage or something to take care of yourself. So you can do either or. Either put some time aside in your calendar to take care of yourself or make some room in the budget this month to take care of yourself. And when it comes to your schedule, remember whenever you say yes to something, you're saying no to something else. So always remember before you overschedule yourself, if you need some time to rest or you need some time to do something you love, you just need time to work on your health. Remember that whenever you say yes to one thing, you're saying no to something else. So make sure that you don't say yes so much that you don't leave time for yourself. Ideally, this would become a habit for you and you would make sure to put some time on your calendar at least once a month and or some money in your budget to take care of yourself. But if you don't do anything like this already, I really encourage you to take one of these action steps. Either put some time on your calendar this month to do something to take care of yourself, and or put some money aside in your budget to take care of yourself. I hear people speaking highly most of the time of nurses. Just imagine how much greater those nurses would be if they took care of themselves, if they came to work feeling refreshed and less stressed, if they had more sleep, if they had more time, if they made more time to do things that they love, they would be even more capable of taking care of sick patients. In the same way, if you take better care of yourself, you can show up better for the people that you take care of. You'll be in a better mood, you'll have more energy. It'll just be this beautiful ripple effect. This beautiful cycle of you taking such good care of yourself that you do an even better job of taking care of others. People will learn from your example, and we'll all just end up being a healthier, happier society overall. Thanks for listening today. If you've been listening for a while and you have not left the show a review, I hope that you will take a minute to just leave a review wherever you listen to the show. Also, go to my website, herholistichealing.com/free to download your free guide, Holistically Healthy Woman, 4 Steps to Move Away from Modern Medicine for Christians. Thanks for listening today. If you like what you heard, would you take a minute to leave the show a review? If you want to connect with me, you can join me in my free community. The link is in the show notes, or go to herholistichealing.com. Matthew 11. Come to me, all who labor and are heavy laden, and I will give you rest. Take my yoke upon you and learn from me, for I am gentle and lowly in heart, and you will find rest for your souls.
For you, it's easy and my burden is light.
This content is for informational purposes only and is not meant to be medical advice.